convulsion and I've got coma. Now, that's not what I was looking for.
I got stroke. Laboratory report. I think I'll just chuck the die. Listen, folks, Shelley Taylor Morgan is here with us, and she's brought her friend Rick Polizzi, who's a game collector and co-author of a book called Spin Again. You see it right here. And you've got classic board games from the 50s and 60s. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I started collecting them about 3 years ago, and I just walked into a thrift store, saw a game that I remembered as a kid, and I just started collecting them ever since.
And how many do you have nowadays?
I've got about 800.
800?
8 or 900.
Well,
I gotta move now.
Where'd you find all these games?
I get them at thrift stores, flea markets, other collectors, you know, people's attics, things like that.
Now, what's the one that started off all of the board games of television shows? What's the granddaddy?
There was a Hopalong Cassidy game.
Yeah, the one I held up earlier.
Yeah, that the president of Milton Bradley saw Hoppy on TV and saw how many kids were, you know, so fond of him. So he went, talked to him, and an hour later, they had a board game, and that started.
Did it come with a hat?
No hat, no hat. You had to buy that separately.
What's this worth today?
This is worth maybe $70 to $100.
Ooh, save those
So
games.
someone would come up with a TV game show or something, a quiz show, and then a game would pop out just
Right,
like that?
they'd make a game for every show.
All right, show me, because I see there's a lot behind
We've
you.
got a ton back here,
Game
folks.
shows were...
Excuse our backs.
Excuse Game shows were...
Come on down.
big on TV.
Very good.
Ad-libbing now. They were big on TV, and, you know, the game companies thought that television was going to take away from game playing. So they just embraced the enemy, so to speak, and said, let's make games on shows.
Now, this is a very famous one, 21.
Yeah, this is what started the quiz show scandals. This was out before...
Scandals.
Scandals.
Yeah, there were a bunch of quiz shows that were feeding answers to people, and this was the one that really got in trouble. But this came out before it.
And this is $64,000 question, and underneath here is one of my favorite.
Right. There's a Groucho, You
Look
Bet
at
Your Life game.
Groucho.
Say the Secret
This is
Void.
great.
Yeah.
Now, what's the most expensive game worth that you have in your collection?
I've paid up to $150 for some games, and there are people paying much more than that for games now. I have some that are worth over maybe $300 or $400.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
Now-
search the attics. Now, someone was telling me that in the research that a lot of these games came about because they were trying to affect the social attitudes of young girls, teach them.
Well, yeah, like these games.
Now, what do we have down here at front first?
Okay, Mystery Date was...
Mystery date?
Yeah.
How to succeed on a blind date when
You know, you weren't old enough to date, but you saw your older sister doing it, so they did this for the little girls. And you'd go around the board, and when you'd land, you'd try to match up an outfit. And when you'd land on a space,
Match
you'd
up an
open
outfit?
Yeah, you'd
And
match
this is
up,
your
and you'd
dream
open
date?
it up to see who you got. And
All right.
so go ahead,
I
you're on
wonder-
a space.
All
so go
right,
ahead
my
and
dream
open it.
date is...
Gary Collins, there he is.
Well,
I didn't know he did board games, too.
that was a strange version of that one.
So we've got Barbie.
Barbie, you had to get a prom dress, be a class president, and a steady boyfriend, and you won the game.
And Twiggy.
Twiggy.
You had to be
Now,
mod.
wait a minute. What did Twiggy teach? I mean, what was the game?
It was just, if you wanted to be mod, you had to play the Twiggy game. If you wanted to keep up.
Yes, folks, games like this is how people got anorexia.
We
That's
didn't
right.
say it was brain surgery. It was a game.
Mystery Date
And Miss Popularity.
Miss Popularity.
You dialed the phone to see who
my
who
goodness.
became the most popular kid on the block.
Boy. Now, let me ask you something. Super Bowl weekend come up. Is there a Super Bowl board game?
There's a lot of football board games. There's no Super Bowl game per se, but they had a lot of the electric football games. If you remember, you stacked these little guys on a metal board, and they would never really
kind of drift.
Yeah,
Sports.
they would lock
Sports.
arms and spin around.
Yeah, let's go.
Now look at that. Here's
The
one of
Kennedys.
these. The Kennedys. I mean,
Oh.
how do you make a board game? I assume this came out before anything happened to the
Yeah,
family.
the object is take control of the country. That's the
it?
object, and maintain your cool.
Well, I don't want to. I don't even want to touch
Candid
the updated
camera.
version.
Right.
This is your life. These are board games that you think, how can they make a board game out of these particular things?
Right.
But they do it.
Yeah.
Now, here's something we all remember, right?
Do you remember this one?
Howdy Doody.
TV game.
Yeah, you went through Howdy's television studio. It was the board set up like a TV studio, and you went through and...
Now, here's one that takes the name from your book. It's Spin Again. Here's
Spin
all
Again.
kinds
You're
of
doing a
spinners.
lot of that
Captain
there.
Video.
Right.
Now, Rick, I have to ask you, with all these games that you've collected, I mean, do you know what the Peter Pan syndrome is about not growing up? You don't want to grow up?
Well, no, not
wanna
really.
grow up.
I'm, you know, I've just had a baby, so that's grown up enough
Okay,
for me.
okay.
I'm doing
now
this
it's
for
time
her.
for
I'm
your
doing this for her. I'm doing
second
all this
childhood.
for her. Yeah.
What's this one? Now,
Green
I heard a lot
Ghost
of people
game.
around the stage here saying, we remember this.
We
Uh-huh.
want to see.
Oh, you want to see that?
Right. He likes the Green Ghost game. It
Yeah.
glowed in the dark. You were the hit of the block if you ever played this
What do
game.
you think of that?
Go ahead and spin that spinner.
Oh, you want to spin the spinner?
Yeah, go ahead.
Robbie came in to visit me at work today, but he loved the Green Ghost game, so he just wanted to see it, yeah.
And I've also got a lot of stuff that's not in the book that I'm doing a newsletter on. And if you write to me here, you can get some free
again.
information on that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to
I'm
ask you
always
something. You talked about TV shows taken away from board games. Have the electronic games now taken away from board games?
Yeah, they really have. Board games are kind of on the out now. They're
Okay.
the adult games are still going.
So this is becoming more collectible because
Sure,
they're making less of them.
sure.
We like
Hey,
that.
thank you, folks, for being here. Rick, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks, Rick.
Next, Gloria Steinem finds herself.